Hello everyone, my name is CMA. Welcome back to CMA modules. In this video lecture, we will be recording admission of partners. This chapter is very important. This chapter is important for 2 marks, 4 marks, 6 marks. We can get short answers, short questions, MCQs, only calculation of ratios, long questions. In fact, as an examiner, he can frame good amount of questions from this chapter. A very beautiful chapter, difficult chapter, important chapter, lots of adjectives attached to this chapter. I've tried to make little easy. I've tried my best to make this chapter easy. Have converted our CMA module into the Excel file so that we can, break up the concepts and try to understand. Let us start with the chapter. So I have 2 partners, Mr. A and Mr. B. They are already sharing their profits and losses in the ratio of 1:1. Now what happened here is they admitted Mr. C, okay, for 1/3 share. So what happens here is, why do we admit new partners? Mr. A, Mr. B, they were doing very well. They have entered into a flourishing business. मतलब बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है. But they want more capital. They are not able to bring more capital. They want to go for expansion. या फिर expertise चाहिए. Or else goodwill. Mr. C has very good name. उनके नाम से ही business आ जाएगा. So why do we admit new partners? It can be for goodwill. I want to use name of new partner. I want capital, extra capital, or else expertise. That person is very good, has very good knowledge for that respected subject. Now we have here few learning points I mentioned. So what are the learning points under this chapter? You have to learn new ratio and sacrificing ratio. That is the basic part, important part, very difficult, important. Then you have to go for reserves, treatment of reserves, calculation of goodwill and its treatment of revaluation of assets and liabilities. So these are 4 basic thing and major thing which you have to study in this chapter. Now I'm focusing on calculation of ratios first. So you have to calculate new ratio. So what is new ratio? How to calculate new ratio? Even in your module, CMA module, first learning point is new ratio. So how to calculate new ratio? So there are so many theories regarding it. What I have done is I have divided calculation of new ratio into 2 parts. So when information is given about sacrificing ratio, and when information is not given about sacrificing ratio. So see, I'm not understanding what you are trying to tell, ma'am. So here, no, we can, let's take an example. So now a new partner is admitted, say Mr. C. When Mr. C is admitted, A and B were already sharing profit at some ratio, say 1:1, or at some ratio, 50-50, some ratio they were sharing. Now here, say only Mr. A is sacrificing, or both A and B both are sacrificing. Okay, because we want to admit Mr. C and we have to give some part to Mr. C. So Mr. C will get his share only when A or B or A and B, both the partners or either or partners sacrifice their ratio. Then only we can go for new profit sharing ratio. So here, that's why I have mentioned, when information about sacrificing ratio is not given and when information about sacrificing ratio is given. So you have A is to B, that is A and B are partners. They are admitting C, and here if you see, here this is your question. I have taken one example. Here sacrificing ratio details is given, that A and B are sacrificing in this ratio 2:1. But if you see here in this part of the question, they have not given, they have just given A and B are sharing old ratio in the form of 1:1. They are admitting Mr. C as the new partner, calculate new ratio. So this is the difference. Here in this part, they will not give you in which ratio they are sacrificing. See here they have given you old ratio, the amount of ratio of C, and in which ratio they are sacrificing. And if you see second part, they are not giving you sacrificing. So this is the major difference. Now here they are not giving you sacrificing, right? So this is little easy, not difficult. It is very easy. So what you have to do is always assume that your total ratio is 1. So what you do is start with total share to be 1. Now from this one you subtract your new partner's share, that is 1/3. Then you'll have balance share. Balance share will be 2 by 3rd. Okay, you will have balance share, A or B's share, or I can even write it down as balance share. So I'll have 2/3. From this 2/3, what I'll do is I'll calculate new ratio. So what is new ratio? 2/3. I already had 1/2 as A and B's ratio, 1/2 from here. Okay, from the question if I see 1/2 equally already they were sharing. To that I multiplied the balance share. Okay, 2/3 I'm supposed of half, 2/3 I'm supposed to give to C. Okay, so 1/3 I'm supposed to give to C. So after multiplying this, I'll have 2/6, 2/6, 2/6. Here also it was 1/3. I required to multiply 1/2, so I'll get 2/6. So now the new ratio will be 2:2:2. Okay, 2:2:2, which will give me 1:1:1. Okay, 1:1:1. Now I'll come here where share is given, sacrificing ratio is given, that is 2:1. In that case, what we are supposed to do? We know A and B are sharing in the ratio 1:1, and Mr. C's share is 1/3. Now this 1/3 I'm supposed to take it from A and I'm supposed to take it from B. In which ratio? In the new ratio, that is 2/3 and 1/3. 2/3 and 1/3. So Mr. C is taking his 1/3 ratio from A in 2/3 and 1/3 ratio from B in 1/3 ratio. If you take 2/9 and 1/9, this 2/9 and 1/9 you have to subtract from your old ratio. So old ratio minus sacrificing ratio, you will get new ratio. You have to take LCM here, you will get your answer. So what I did, I went for 1/2 minus 2/9, the sacrificing ratio. Old ratio minus sacrificing ratio. Here I got a factor, I got 9 minus 4 by 18. How I got this? I took an LCM here. Okay, after doing that, I'll get my new ratio. I hope you are comfortable with this part when sacrificing ratio is given and when sacrificing ratio is not given. For your easy understanding, I have taken 2 more examples. A and B are partners sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 3:2. Mr. C is admitted as a new partner for 1/3 share. Calculate new profit sharing ratio. So here old ratio is given and Mr. C's share is given. Other than that, nothing is given. So what we will do here is, we will take total share as 1. From this one, I will remove my C's share. I will get 2/3 share as balance share. Now this balance share 2/3 I am supposed to multiply with the old ratio. So I will get A's new share, B's new share and C's new share. Now suppose here in this question, if you see, it is same question. Here whatever was mentioned same, but here I wrote in this question example 2, I wrote the sacrificing part also. So now I can conclude, for calculation of new ratio, I am supposed to check my question. After reading the question, I am supposed to check. First point, it is information, sacrificing information is given or sacrificing information is not given. Say sacrificing information is given. Then it becomes easy. You have to take his ratio, new partner's ratio. You have to check that new partner ratio he is getting from where? From Mr. A, B, both the partners or from any one partner. So calculate sacrificing ratio. Second step, calculate sacrificing ratio. First step, check whether sacrificing ratio is mentioned or not mentioned. It is mentioned. Then calculate sacrificing ratio. After calculating sacrificing ratio, put into the formula old minus sacrificing, you will get, take LCM and you will get answer. So first step is to check whether sacrificing ratio is given or not. Sacrificing SCR is given or not. Then second step, whether sacrificing ratio is given or not. Then second step is to calculate sacrificing ratio. Third step is to take LCM. Put in the formula. The formula is sacrificing ratio, old ratio minus sacrificing ratio. Fourth step is take LCM, you will get your answer. So this is your checkpoint. This is your 4-step point to calculate your new ratio. Suppose that sacrificing part is not given, then you assume your total share to be 1. From that 1, you remove your C part, your new partner's share, you will get balance share. Okay, so you assume total share, that is your first part, always total share to be 1. From total share, you remove your new share. From total share, you remove new share. Okay, you remove new share. You will get balance share. From this balance share, okay, you remove your new share. From this balance share, okay, now you got your balance share also. Multiply this balance share with your old share of old partners. Then you will get your new PSR. New PSR is your answer. I hope it is clear. So same way I have taken one more example. Here I have drafted in the form of case A, B and C. You all can take a screenshot of this example with solution I have presented. So I have taken module as base, CMA module as base for this chapter. So there, what is the partnership they have explained first. Then they have admission of partners. Then they have gone for new ratio. So I have tried to explain new ratio in the easier version here. I hope you are comfortable with this part. Then we have reserves. Accounting treatment of reserves and accumulated profit. So this is reserves and accumulated profit. So what is reserves and accumulated profit? Mr. A and Mr. B are already partners in the firm. Now they want Mr. C to come. Okay, they are already partners in the firm and now they want to admit Mr. C. But before admitting Mr. C, they were already working. Okay, and they had this reserves, matlab profit and loss was already there. Suppose they are working since 7 years. So profit, accumulated profit is there, reserves are there, already everything is there. Now, since this year they are adding Mr. C, they cannot, Mr. C cannot, take share from the old reserves or old accumulated profits. So what we are required to do is, whatever, before his admission, before new partner's admission, we are supposed to write off this reserves and accumulated profit amongst old partners in old ratio. So old partners were having old reserves or old accumulated profits. Reserves can be in any name. Workmen compensation fund, building reserves, any name. You have to take that reserves, distribute among old partners in old ratio. Okay. Concept is very easy. This is the concept. Journal entries. You take your reserve amount. Suppose if it is a profit, so you are adding that to the capital, right? Capital has the credit balance. So you are getting income, increase over. So credit. So credit what comes in. So A's capital account and B's capital account will be credited. So reserves account will be debited. Reserves you are nil kar rahe ho na. Reserves has credit balance. Okay, reserves has credit balance. Now you are bringing down your reserves. This has credit balance. So you'll have to make opposite, debit kar do. So reserves account debit, P&L account debit to A's capital, B's capital. It is profit. You are adding profit to A's capital and B's capital. You are giving something to partners. So that's why you are crediting profit here. Now when it's a loss, opposite entry. When it's a loss, opposite entry. So this was for accumulated reserves and profit, accumulated reserves and accumulated profit. Okay. Then you have third concept. Third concept is related to goodwill. So what is goodwill? Goodwill is nothing. Again, goodwill is accounting treatment of goodwill. Okay, I've prepared one more sheet for accounting treatment of goodwill. Goodwill is the amount which new partner is required to bring along with the capital. New partner is required to bring along with capital. So capital he will bring. Anyways, capital he will bring by default, but goodwill amount he will not bring. So he is required to bring goodwill amount also. Why goodwill amount also he is required to bring? Because till now, since 7 to 8 years, firm is working. So these partners have really worked very hard for the firm, okay, for the name of the firm, for their fame, etc. And because of them, the business is coming. So now Mr. C will come and walk in and he'll like, okay, now I'll enjoy the fruits. No, it is not like that. So Mr. C will have to bring goodwill amount also along with him. He cannot come, he cannot walk in without any goodwill amount. So that goodwill amount will be distributed amongst all partners in old ratio. So capital will be there in the firm, but the goodwill amount will be distributed among old partners in old ratio. Okay, so there are three cases when C brings his share of goodwill privately. So privately is bringing, he is not showing to the firm, so there will be no entry. When C brings his share of goodwill in cash or asset, when he is bringing his share of goodwill in cash or asset, so he is bringing, no, something is coming to the firm. We are passing journal entries from firm's point of view. So bank account debit or asset account debit to premium for goodwill. He is bringing some amount. He is bringing some amount. So that is extra amount. So goodwill, premium for goodwill. That premium for goodwill, that amount you have to transfer to sacrificing partners. Goodwill is always given to sacrificing partners, not to old partners, sacrificing partners. Suppose A and B both are the partners. Only B is sacrificing, so give only to B. A is not sacrificing, no, so don't give to A. So in case of goodwill is distributed in sacrificing ration given only to sacrificing partner. Only in this case, only in this case when he brings goodwill in cash or in kind. But when a new partner is not able to bring, but firm में से ही raise कर रहे, in that case, no. In that case, it will be again old ratio. So in entire chapter, the question always comes when to use old ratio, when to use new ratio, when to use sacrificing ratio. So what is our chapter about? Our chapter is about distribution of profits, losses, everything before admission of partner. So before admission of partner, you are distributing something, right? Now, whatever you are doing before admission of partner, okay, whatever you are doing before admission of partner, you have to pass it on to old partners in old ratio. But goodwill, bought in cash or in kind, that you have to pass it in sacrificing ratio. Only one point is in sacrificing ratio. Once partner is admitted, it will be in new ratio. Done. Now this third case, I'll be preparing a separate video lecture for this third case and numericals and examples related to all the cases. I hope you are comfortable with the lecture. Thank you.